All right. Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in today to another Career on Wheels segment. Today we have none other than a former Boys and Girls Club member, Mr. Gregory Strawder, and the wonderful and phenomenal Dr. Toy tuning in with us live today. Hey, everybody. Hey, listen, as you come on today, continue to share this Facebook Live video with people. Continue to pump the good things that Boys and Girls Club of Albany is doing. So we have our teams coming on today to share with us the wonderful questions that they've researched and going to ask our special guests today. And we have a room full of our teams for our first week back for our summer program. So we're so excited to have them back. Listen, we want you all to enjoy yourself. We're going to call up Miss Woods now, and she's going to kick off our dialogue for us today.
Hello, my name is Takiri Woods. Can you tell me about yourself today?
Wow. Greg, you want to go first?
I didn't hear a question. Could you repeat it a little louder?
Hello, my name is Takiri Woods. Can you tell me about yourself today?
Oh, absolutely. So my name is Greg Strawder, and I'm a native of Albany, Georgia. I was grew up in Albany, went to Doherty High School, graduated from Doherty High School, and I after high school, I attended Albany State where I got my bachelor's degree in mathematics. And so after I graduated from Albany State with a bachelor's, I received my master's and my PhD from Tuskegee University in engineering. And so just kind of give you a high level overview of me. After I received my graduate degrees in engineering, I started with Boeing. I've been with Boeing for the past roughly 8 years now in the engineering capacity and the engineering role. So it's been a wonderful experience. The company is a good company. I've had a chance to travel the world to see different things. So and I'm just here hopefully to inspire you guys to see that it is possible to make it out of Albany, to dream big and to continue to work hard to be an inspiration to you guys. So that's in a nutshell. That's a little bit about myself.
All
Awesome.
right, Dr. Toy.
My name is Toy Dennis, and I am originally from Champaign, Illinois, but I live in Clarksville, Tennessee. I attended Eastern Illinois University to receive my bachelor's and my first master's. And then I went on and got my doctorate in human services with a specialization in work and community services from Capella University. Then after that, because I just love school, I decided to go back and get another master's in higher education administration because I teach. I'm grateful to be here.
I think she's going in and out. Oh,
How's the connection on my end, Travius?
you're good. You're good.
Okay.
And so we'll circle back around to her. So,
Okay.
one of the questions uh, that was submitted for you, Mr. Gray, is can you describe what is one of your typical work days? What's a typical work day like for
Um, it varies from day to day. To be honest with you, there's I guess this saying that goes around for the people that work in my group. All we do is play all day, which is in essence true, but not necessarily. So typically, I usually get to work about between 7 and 8 a.m. It's the hours are pretty flexible somewhere in that window. And once I get to work on a daily basis, I work. So to back up a little bit, I work on Apache helicopters, which is a platform or I guess a product of the U.S. Army. If you guys are not familiar with the Apache helicopter, and so On the Apache helicopter, I'm responsible for a lot of the material testing. So basically, I break a lot of stuff. I test the integrity of the part itself, mainly the rotor blade, to make sure it's designed to withstand a lot of the, I guess, the forces and the rigor that is will be subjected to by the U.S. Army. So I do a lot of cool projects in a nutshell, if I can say that. Just and it varies from day to day the scope of the work that I do. To be honest with you, it can vary from a lot of hands-on support or being out there putting my hands on a product, or I might be at my desk all day sitting in front of a computer, like doing some complex calculations and stuff like that. But I have no complaints. It's fine. That's how I look at it. I enjoy what I do.
All right, so one of our other club members have a question for you.
Absolutely.
Hey, my name is Tamia Jordan. How would you describe the culture of your company?
That's a great question. It varies from location to location. So I currently live in Mesa, Arizona. So it's the culture is I would characterize it as more of a an old school culture, and that has a lot to do with I guess the demographics and the program itself, because it's considered a legacy program. So essentially, it's not one of the newer programs where we have, I guess, a more diverse population, so to speak. And I'm talking from ethnicity as well as like gender and age, so to speak. But prior to me moving to Arizona, I worked in Charleston, South Carolina, and the demographics of there in Charleston are a lot different, and it's much more of excuse me, a diverse population. And it was a newer program, so we had a lot more younger, newer engineers. So it was going from there to here. It was like both ends of the spectrum. So and from commercial to defense is like a complete 180 as well, as far as like how we operate and how I guess how we view um, our approach to problem solving, so to speak.
And Dr. Toy, are you there? Dr. Toy, are you there?
I'm here. I can't see anything, but can you see me? Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, we can see you in here. So one of the questions that
I cannot hear
our
anything.
students, can you hear now?
Okay,
Can you hear now?
I can.
Okay. So one of the questions that was submitted for you by one of our students was, how has the industry that you work in changed over the past 5 years? And that question can go for both of you all.
Dr. Toy. Hmm,
I think she's freezing up again.
okay. Uh, s- I'll tackle it if you want me to. So
You want to go ahead, Greg?
yeah,
Wow. Um, well, I work with the homeless population, and here,
Yeah, she's out again.
yeah.
You can go ahead and answer, Mr. Greg.
Okay. So so when I first hired in back in 2012, there was, I guess, a lot of promise with. I was working on commercial aircrafts and on the 787 program, which was at the time one of Boeing's newest platforms and programs. So there was a lot of promise and there was a lot of, I guess, excitement associated with that program, because it was essentially it's the first major commercial aircraft with that's, I guess, composed of a lot of new technology, so there was a lot of excitement associated with that. But since then, it's kind of, I guess you can say, it's kind of in the valley, and has a lot to do with the current COVID climate, as well as the change in, I guess, administration, going from uh, Barack to Donald Trump, and from, I guess, from a Democratic to a Republican party, and now it's a lot of the emphasis and the, I guess you could say, the funding has been reallocated to a lot of our defense programs. So basically, a lot of military contracts and stuff like that. So it's kind of, it's very sinusoidal in nature, when, I guess, depending on, I guess, who's in office, from, I guess, a Democrat to a Republican standpoint, and our business kind of aligns and, I guess, mirrors that, so to speak. So a lot more opportunity on the defense side as opposed to commercial aircraft at the moment.
And Dr. Toy, can you hear me?
I can. Hopefully I'll be able to answer the question.
Okay. Okay, so the question was, how has the industry changed over the past 5 years for you?
Okay, well, I work with the homeless population. So the homeless population continues to change daily. The more job opportunities that we have here in the community, the larger we continue to grow. 40 miles from Nashville. So when the overflow is happening in Nashville, we get a lot of moms and single mothers here that come to this area. But also we have a lot, this is the military community. We're in the Fort Campbell area. So you have some moms that are left behind because maybe the marriage didn't work and the spouse, their husband, decided to PCS and move on to the next duty station or something like that. So they are stuck here, if I can use the word stuck, or they've chosen to stay here and they're trying to start their life all over again. So we help them as well. So it's continuing to grow. It varies, but we have a lot of veterans, a lot of veteran men and women here in the area as well.
Okay. And so talking about you all's career field and how much you all have benefited in the people that have imparted so much knowledge in you, can you take time to share with our teams that are watching and those that are listening from abroad how much it really means to have a great mentor, someone in your corner to push and drive you and support you on your journey?
Wow. Well, I grew up homeless. I come from a single parent home. I'm the first generation, the first person in my family to ever go to college. So it's people like myself and yourself that helped my family get to where we are now. So it is a blessing for me to be able to give back. I always said once I made something of myself and grew up, I wanted to give back to other people and help other people. So to be able to pour into other women, single, me and my sibling experience, it's very, very rewarding. It's a lot of hard work, but it's very rewarding. I feel like when I'm not doing what I'm doing, then I'm not walking in my purpose of what God has chosen me to do. Because if it wasn't for people like myself and yourself, I wouldn't be where I am today. I had mentors through my college years that said, I believe in you, that you can do it. I wasn't taught to go to college. I was taught to get my high school diploma and graduate. So if it wasn't for a low income program, when my senior year allowed me to take a college class to let me know that, hey, she can do this, then I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Wow, that's good. That's really good. And Mr. Gray, same thing for you.
And along the lines of what Dr. Tory was saying, our stories are very similar, coming from a single parent home. Not well. My father wasn't around, but I had multiple father figures that filled that void. And being the first, I guess, person in my family with a 4-year degree and an advanced degree, because I had no concept or no knowledge what a graduate degree was as I was growing up. But I didn't I didn't look at that as a detriment or that deterred me from, I guess striving for it and want to achieve excellence, so to speak. And similar to what Dr. Tori said, I guess I've I vowed to myself to always be there and to encourage and promote and bring as many minorities into the STEM field and encourage them to pursue careers and I guess degrees in the STEM field because there's a deficit that currently exists in that field. And me being in the field throughout my I guess college career and industry, I can definitely tell I can test to that from firsthand knowledge that we're very underrepresented when it comes to science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And there is, due to the current climate and everything that's going on, you have companies that are willing to address that and they're seeking to diversify their culture and they're actively looking for and pursuing like minorities and to fulfill some of the to fill some of these positions. So, and as far as mentors go, they're very important. Their mentorship can either, I guess, either I won't say break or make or break your career path, your career trajectory, but they definitely have a good influence on how far you succeed in your career and your career growth and development. Because they can, being that they've been in your position, they can tell you or give you insight on what you're dealing with and how to navigate the political, the how to navigate uh, culture or the professional culture in the industry. So they're very important, almost as important as your education, to be honest with you.
I totally agree.
So do the both of you can really say that the mentors that you have had along your career in life have really sounds like they've really made a big and huge difference in your life. Reading both of your bio and hearing the experiences that you all have traveled through to get where you are today really speaks volume to the people that have helped poured into you over the years. And so, even Greg, if you could take a moment and share your Boys and Girls Club experience here in Albany with our teams.
Ab-
Mr. Jason Belk is on, and he want me to tell you hello. And so, just share your experience and how much the Boys and Girls Club have really helped you.
Absolutely. Tell Jake I said hello. I guess in retrospect, and as I was growing up, when looking back on it, you don't realize how much my that experience actually molded me, kind of gave me the character and a lot of the skills that I needed in order to be where I am today. I remember just like it was yesterday. I started out on Cedar Avenue before the flood in 1994. Then due to the flood, we moved over to to the Jefferson Street location, and those were some of the best times in my life. It kept me out of trouble, basically, to be honest with you. It kept me out of the streets. It actually gave me a sense of a purpose, so to speak. It helped with building my, I guess, my relationship, my team building skills. I, I'm kind of at a loss for words in retrospect, thinking about, I guess how how those my early adolescent years and me being in the boys club, it kind of laid the foundation and gave me those, I guess, soft skills and tools that I needed to succeed and excel to get to where I am now. Because I mentioned earlier that I didn't have I guess, a father figure, so to speak, and I looked up to Jake and to Ron, among others, to kind of fill that void. I never verbally expressed that to them, but as a young black boy, I kind of watched a lot of their movements and how they approach and handle things, and I actually modeled some of their, I guess, approaches and their problem solving skills, and it carried that with me to this day. So very thankful, very appreciative to for the boys and girls club experience.
And Dr. Toy, talking about the things that you do in the Tennessee area. What's really, I know that you said that you matriculated from being homeless to where you are now. What continues to drive that passion in your heart?
Mm. To be able to relate to uh, other women and families. So I know what it's like to be without. I know what it's like to be poor. I know what it's like to struggle. So to be able to relate to the working with means a lot. Um, I've worked hard for the things that I have, and to come from where I come from to where I am now, I want to continue to pay. With God, you can thought I would do. I've been in places that I thought I would never been. I took a job working for the Department of Defense right after graduate school. I moved over to Germany and worked for the government for 3 years. I'm from Champaign, Illinois. Driving up to Chicago is a trip for me and my family. So to be able to go out of the country, my mom and dad thought I was crazy. Where you going? Where? I'm leaving the country. So I've done some things. I'm a spontaneous person, but I've done some things. I've been in places that I never thought I would have been. So just to be able to pour back into people, because it was people like myself and yourself that helped me and my family. So.
And I know that you all have so many great stories about people that have assisted you. What type of college courses in college that you attended on your educational journey?
What type of courses? Well, you got to take the basic ones. You got to take the math and the English and the speech. But I would say for me, the fun courses were, I teach sociology, so I'm a sociology professor. I also teach social work and human service courses as well. Psychology, sociology, anything dealing with working with people for me is kind of what kept my mind going. So when you tap into what you like, I think that's where we put our energy. You got to take the basic class. You got to take the math. You got to take the English. You got to take the speech, those things. Those classes can be fun, but you have to be well grounded when taking classes. So once you tap into what you like and you're well grounded, then I think, you can continue to be successful. But college is not like high school. And I tell my students this all the time. You're responsible for your education. So you have to find the balance of having a regular life and taking courses. And if you continue on, I'm part of a sorority. So if you continue on and you start doing other fun extracurricular activities, you still got to know how to find the balance, because your professors are not going to be as hands-on as your high school teachers were. We're here to help, but it's a lot of you all when you get to the college arena. So that one-on-one that you may get in high school, you may not get that in college, but you're still going to receive the guidance that you need if you apply yourself.
Absolutely. And to echo Dr. Toy's sentiments. It was a boatload of math and physics for me. It was math courses that I didn't even know existed. To the point where I'm taking math courses where you're only using letters and variables, like no numbers associated or attached to courses. So a lot of math, a lot of physics, a little chemistry. So it a broad range of diverse subjects, but it's very rewarding in the end, and it's all to help develop your critical thinking skills and stuff like that. And I think Dr. Toy touched on a very valid point. When you get into college, it's more so you got to practice discipline. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to balance your time, uh, prioritize a lot of things that, and you know what I'm saying. Just my one of my mentors used to always tell me, a lot of things that you're worried about, you're concerned with, just you can take care of those once you get through it. I guess once you finish the task that you have at hand. The more important thing is to make sure you get your degree, get your education. Then a lot of things that you want or that may seem to be a distraction, they'll be there after you're done with the task at hand. Just stay focused and prioritize things that are most important.
I would like to add that don't allow not
Mhm.
having resources keep you from attending college.
Absolutely.
You can start off at the community college for 2 years. Like here in Tennessee, we have the Tennessee Promise where you can go to school for 2 years for free. I wish they had that back in the day. I'd probably be in less debt. But you can go to school for free here for 2 years. You can start off at the community college where there's resources that are there. I wasn't taught about these resources. I didn't learn about these resources when I was in high school. I had to educate myself on a lot of things. And there's a lot of things I wish I would have known back then, answer wise. But there's resources, there's scholarships, there's things out there for African American students. And if your parents don't have any money, my parents didn't have any money. I was Pell Grant, FAFSA, student loans, all those things is what got me through school. You can still be successful in it. But I think sometimes when we're not educated in what type of resources are available, we steer away from, I can't do this because I can't afford to do it. You can go to college. There are programs that are out there. So don't let anything keep you from completing your goals or being whatever it is that you want to be. Even if you're going just to get a certificate to get in some type of trade, there are resources that are out there where you may have to pay anything. You just need to be disciplined in what you're trying to do.
Yeah, for free. I didn't pay for my graduate degrees.
Wow,
Yeah,
look at
for
God.
free.
That's a blessing. Yes. See?
That's always good when somebody else pays for you. So that's one of the things that I drive home to the teams all the time here is to make sure that you have a knowledge for gathering resources. Make sure that you go and find out what opportunities are out there for you. You never know who may be willing to pay for a full ride of 4 years of college, or what institution you may be going to that has resources or scholarship opportunities available that comes with internships. And so as we know that you all have busy schedules, and so you know, Mr. Greg, how it is during the summertime. All the boys want to get to the gym.
Absolutely.
So let's talk for our last 1 or 2 questions about if you had to do it over, would you actually do the same pathway, or would you choose a different career pathway to go in?
Ooh. For me, I would say I wouldn't.
Wow, that's a good question. If I had to do it over, ooh, um,
Are you there, Dr. Toy? You want me to go ahead or? Oh yeah, I'll speak to that. I I would I wouldn't do it differently. I love my career. I love what I do. I just that I would. My only thing that I would probably do different is, and Dr. Torrey spoke to it. I didn't research. I didn't take advantage of equipping myself with even more knowledge than I have now, or when I was going through the process. It 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 didn't, I guess, prevent me from getting to where I was. I think if I would have known more and did more research, as opposed to, I guess, being a little more complacent, it probably would have accelerated where I am today. But I wouldn't do anything different because I learned a lot going through the process. It kind of molded and shaped me and kind of gave me an outlook and a perspective that it kind of gives you. I call it Teflon skin. It kind of builds courage and it builds character concurrently. So like especially going to Albany State and through HBCU where resources are limited. So you have to be a go getter and you have to figure out how to get things done as opposed to like everything being there at your convenience. So I think I just think a little bit more, I guess, research and equipping myself with a more knowledge in advance would probably been a little more beneficial.
And Dr. Toy?
I wouldn't do things different. I would say for me, that everything that I experienced growing up all the way to where I am at now has made me the woman that I am. Um, I believe that college was my way out of the hood. um, I'm not perfect, but I look back at some of the people that I went to school with who made different choices. Children and all those different types of things. At an early age, I guess I'm considered a late bloomer compared to some of the people that I went to school with. But I believe that the challenges that I faced let me go back. So growing up, we have things that we go through, and sometimes when you don't deal with the challenges that you face, you can find a coping mechanism that kind of helps us through. So for me, it was college. I felt like if I was successful in this area, that it would take away everything that I experienced growing up. But after I got all my degrees and have become successful, it didn't take away from what I experienced growing up. So I had to deal with that after the fact. So even though life may be hard, even though you may come from a single parent home, even though you experience the things you experience, you still have to work through the issues so that you can be able to be successful as you're in your education. Because I struggled the credit hours and transferred into the university, but it was a different environment. Everything was new to me. And because I didn't have any help, I was doing things on my own, trying to figure out how I'm gonna pay to stay at the dorm, tuition, those different type of things. I was just trying to find my way. But again, that was my motivation and my goal to become a better person because of not dealing with my childhood issues. So I feel like I would have made better life choices, relationships, all different types of things, if I would have dealt with those things. But college was my way of, it was my coping mechanism. So you got to deal, heal, and still be willing to put in the work, if that makes sense. So.
And that's good knowledge. You both have shared some wonderful things today with our team. And so as we wrap up, for you all to get back to your days, I know that you all are millionaires in progress.
Speak that thing into existence. Yes. I received that.
Any final parting words that you all would like to share to these young people today? And to those that are watching, I just got a text message from one of the Boys and Girls Clubs in Arizona saying that they're tuned in as well, watching us today. And so, any final parting words that you would like to share to us today?
I would say that there's so much stuff going on in the world right now, and our society is upside down. We're dealing with a lot as young people. Stay focused. There's so many distractions. There's so many things that can distract you from doing what you're supposed to do. Whether it's your job, whether it's a task, you just have to stay focused. You have to remain positive. And I don't know if you all heard anything that I said. Did you all hear what I said?
We heard bits and pieces, but the most important part was to stay focused. Was to stay focused part. That speaks volume. Stay focused. I guarantee you they hear me say that at least 1 million times a day. Stay focused. All right, Dr. Greg.
I'll I'll be a little shorter. But in the same vein of the current environment and climate that we're in, I implore people to know your history and do your research about a lot of stuff. Because that's vital. That's key. That's essential, in my opinion. And I always tell people to get outside your comfort zone, and by doing so, you grow as a person, as an individual, and mentally you grow, and you experience and you see things from a different perspective, from a different vantage point that you probably wouldn't experience if you're always inside your comfort zone. And that's one of the things that I think has helped me to grow as an individual so much, is getting outside of what I know, what I'm comfortable with, and allowing me to see, I guess, different things from other people's perspective, their culture, how they approach and how they view certain things. And I always tell people, if you don't know, ask questions. Like, don't be afraid to reach out to people. You'll be surprised the amount of people that are willing to help out. And but you'll never know if you kind of sit back and you're being like reserved and not asking for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help, or to say I don't know, because I have a PhD, but there's a lot that I don't know, and I'm not ashamed to say that. You know what I'm saying? That's just human nature. And if there was anything I can do, anybody want to reach out to me, any advice or any help that I can provide, don't hesitate, because I enjoy giving back. I guess I feel fulfilled by doing so. Fulfilled by doing so.
All right. So listen, the both of you have shared some amazing knowledge with us today, and really have helped these team in more than one way. Really know that the skills and tools that I try to every day to help them prepare to have in the workforce and for college, I'm just not saying. But they're getting it
That's
from
true.
people as well that are really former Boys and Girls Club members in the same building. We are currently in Jefferson Street right now.
Yeah,
And these are some of the amazing stories and life challenges that people go through, and some they can relate to. So we thank you all so much for the opportunity of joining us today.
absolutely. I,
Absolutely.
I
And
remember it
know
all
that it
so
won't
well.
be the last time.
Oh,
Amen. Amen.
anytime. Quick
So you
question.
all,
Before I let you
any
go.
questions from y'all?
Yeah. Talk to me about Billy Bows and steak and burgers and sleepovers.
So
Do
they
those?
know about steak and burger. They know about steak and burger.
Okay.
So, any questions from the teams? All right. So, we thank you all so much for coming on today and sharing with us. And you all have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. It was
All
a
right.
pleasure.
Likewise.
Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right.